Hello, hi. Um, Today we're going to be doing a short tutorial on how to make a sock puppet. This is a little baby puppet. Um, and so it's going to be quick, but I think that might be helpful. A lot of people have asked me to make one. We start off with some of the materials that you're going to need. First off, we're going to be using fuzzy socks. I get these fuzzy socks on Amazon. I order them. I try to get it so that they're minimally or most $2 for the pair. That would make it $1 for each sock. I think that's pretty reasonable. But I have gotten them cheaper on other sites. It might take longer to get delivered, but sometimes well worth the economics of it. So we have our one fuzzy sock. By the way, the difference between using a fuzzy sock and a regular sock is the fuzzy sock is a lot more forgiving when it comes to sewing, when it comes to gluing, attaching anything. It just seems to blend. Very forgiving for any kind of mistakes. Second thing we're going to need is cardboard. I use cardboard. You could use plastic. You could use anything that's going to give you some stiffness for the mouth. I use the same Amazon box that the socks came in. I cut them into about 6 inches by 4 inches, which is about the size of your hand. And you think about it, that is your mouthpiece. The next thing you're going to need is eyes. Well, I use all sorts of eyes. These eyes I get for $1 at the dollar store around Halloween. I get about 12 of them, so you figure 6 puppets are done with $1. That's pretty good. If you don't like this design, you can put that side down on the puppet and then put a little tag and use these as your eyeballs. I also get googly eyes that I can get. I feel like I'm promoting Amazon more and more, but googly eyes on Amazon, these are very easy for me. You can use ping pong balls, you can use Easter eggs, you can use buttons, pom-poms, pretty much anything kind of works with them. Next thing you're going to need is filler. So this is that poly fill. I get like about a handful of this, and that should be enough for one puppet. So something like this. You also don't need to use this to make a sock puppet, but I've gotten into using it a lot more. You find that you start to look for other little additives. So I am now into putting glasses. The glasses are something that you could add for a special puppet or just to make them a little bit different. It does add a lot of character. These, unfortunately, are more like $3, $4, up to $5 a pair. As far as the hair is concerned, you can use yarn, all types of yarn. I look for is varied yarn, and I always look for something that's on sale. But it's just yarn tied up, and I plop it on their head. So let's get started with one of these sock puppets. So we have our one pair here, and sometimes you'll see them made where someone will cut open here and that becomes the mouth, and you could see how that would work. But I don't like that. I pretty much use the heel as where my thumb would go as the bottom part of the chin. So just to demonstrate, again, heel, top part, and there you see I'm talking already, right? It's got a little bit of this extra. That's where the filler comes in. You can make that a big nose. You can fill it up so you don't see any of it. And I take the same way I'm looking at over here, and I could turn it inside out like that. I take my mouthpiece, which might be a little bit on the wide side, so I could trim this a little bit more just to make him a little bit less open mouth, though it's still going to be pretty big. And again, I don't get crazy about this is exact. If you want to, you can do it a little bit more. Don't spend a lot of time making them. Put them in. Now when you put this in, I'm just going to show you first how that looks. And it's there. So hi, how you doing? And if you want, you could glue one of those sides. I don't always glue it, but I'll glue it now just so you can see it. So put a little bit of the glue gun. Don't put too much. You don't have to cover it. Let it cool off a little bit. It's easier to glue. And then I press and voila. He is already coming to be. So he is there, right? Now, if you just added eyes and a little tongue or mouth, it would be done. But we can keep going. So let's add some of our filler. And I'm going to put the filler on the top part. And this is where it's all about you. How much do you want to put on? How much is it enough? If this is enough, or do you want a lot more? I want a little bit more. And so now I have him so that he looks pretty good to me right now. So I could already see where he's going to be talking. Now, if I wanted to make a nose, I could actually sew, and you wouldn't see any of the thread. You could just sew into a little nose like that. You could attach a nose. You could leave no nose, and I had all of those. So, or if you wanted to add a little filler to make a chin, as in this guy has a little bit of a filler. See, no filler, filler. And I sewed his nose, not on, just as around, using the same technique over here like that. So when it comes to the eyes, take these, you could glue the ping pong balls, you can sew on buttons, but if I put these eyes in, this is where that fuzzy sock comes in handy. It's very easy to make just a little hole in there. And now that I have them in, all I have to do is kind of glue them down a little bit. And as you see, I'm not being super careful about where does that glue go or anything like that. Sock is extremely forgiving. So now we have pretty much our sock puppet. You can use a little piece of this one and cut off and attach ears like this guy. And this is again with just glue. And let's look at the hair because the hair is important for me. Let's just use, we could have this kind of hair or something like this or just the yellow yarn. I've made them into braids. I've made them long, made them really sharp. I try to look for anything different. The kids like that. They like to see something different. This becomes their persona while they are playing with it. As far as the mouth is concerned, I will take a piece of black felt, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. You can make this red as well. I cut around. I mean, this one would need a little bit more trim, and then you could just add a red tongue if you want. And again, each one kind of picks up his own little personality by the way you do it. I could also use the rest of this to make his arms if you want, and that's just rolled up. So along with making a sock puppet, you can also vary it, and depending on your talents, what kind of eyes you have, color. This is from Creepy Carrots, a children's book, and pretty simple, the big item being the orange sock. So easy. Another technique that I just wanted to show at the end is the fact that we also have sculpted sock puppets. So this is a sock, and instead of just making the usual, I did a lot more sculpting with the needle and thread. And by the way, this needle and the thread is probably white, so it's not like it matched exactly, but you can't see it. And instead of using pop-up eyes, I use these doll eyes that you can get on Amazon as well. This whole cart was filled with them, and it's about $6, so you can get a lot for your money's worth. Putting that together, these are 2 socks that I had to put together to get it this long. And this is just fabric rolled up so that it looks like her hairdo, her eyes, and of course little accessories. I'm sure people can do better than that. This is my little grandma. She's ready for the coronavirus, so she's got her mask. She has a friend similar with lipstick, so that's just felt. A teenage granddaughter. Glasses do a lot here. This one does not have an open mouth, but it's more just to use in a remote learning situation where I want to show what teens are doing. You can make pets. So it's a cat. Haven't done the eyes on this one yet. Maybe we'll put a filler in, maybe not put the filler in. These are just wires. So you can see that this could just go on and on and on. as many socks as you have. This is, by the way, the outfit is a sleeve of a shirt, as if you took this sleeve, and then all of a sudden it becomes the whole outfit. So there's a lot to be done here. Use your imagination, enjoy it, and if you have any questions, feel free to send an email. Thanks so much, and bye-bye for now.